Dandi March or Salt March. This incident took place in 1930 before India became independent. For many years, the British had made a law that did not allow people to make salt themselves. They had also put a heavy tax on salt. By this law, people could not make salt even for use at home. How can anybody live without salt? Said Gandhiji. How can a law not allow us to use freely what nature has given? The Salt March or Dandi March was part of the Indian independence movement. It was a non-violent protest against the salt tax by British government. The Indians were upset that the government increased the price of salt. The Salt March began with around 80 people, but as more and more people joined in for the 390-kilometer journey, it grew into a strong force of 50,000 people. Gandhiji with several other people went on a yatra, a long walk, from Ahmedabad to Dandi seashore in Gujarat to protest against this law. Start of Dandi March. It started from Sabarmati to Dandi seashore in Gujarat to protest against this law. Participation of women in march. Even before the march started, the enthusiasm could be seen as thousands began to throng the Sabarmati ashram in anticipation of the dramatic events that lay ahead. One of the major contributions of Dandi March led by Gandhiji was the overwhelming participation of women in march. This newness of women participation in the freedom movement led many scholars to argue that Dandi March made women visible in the freedom movement. Upon reaching the seashore in Dandi, Mahatma Gandhi broke the law by producing illegal salt. Effects of Dandi March. Thousands of people in different parts of country defied salt law, manufactured salt and demonstrated in front of government salt factories. Foreign cloth was boycotted. Liquor shops were picketed. Peasants refused to pay revenue taxes. Village officials resigned. Forest people violated forest law by going into reserve forests to collect wood and graze cattle. Soon after breaking the law, Gandhi encouraged other Indians to produce and distribute salt themselves. Consequently, millions of people nationwide broke the salt law. Do you know how salt is made? The sea water is salty, consisting of lots of salts in it. The sea water is collected in shallow beds dug in the sand. Water is allowed to dry in the sun. After the water dries, the salt remains on the ground. Salt is obtained by evaporation of sea water. The salt obtained here is impure. Later, it is purified and iodine is added to it to make it edible.